If you know what to look for on the documents that the title company is sending to you, either as a seller or a buyer, you may be able to prevent a delay in the closing date. Today's tip will discuss two important documents and what you should be looking for on each of them. Stay tuned to the end to learn what every buyer should be requesting, but only experienced agents and investors seem to ask for. The first document is the title commitment. The commitment consists of Schedule A, which is like a cover page, Schedule B1, which are the requirements that must be met prior to closing, and Schedule B2, which lays out the exceptions from coverage that the buyer's final title insurance policy will not insure against. As a seller, you want to review Schedule A to be sure that only your name appears as the owner. Sometimes a person who passed away still appears as an owner, and that is an indication that steps need to be taken to update the property records, which could include a probate administration in court. You also want to peruse the requirements page to be sure there's nothing unexpected listed, like the payoff of an old mortgage obligation that you thought was already closed out. As a buyer, you want to confirm that the type of ownership that's being insured matches what you're buying. For most buyers, that will be a fee simple interest. And you also want to check that the vesting information is correct with full names and the way you intend to hold title, such as jointly or as a married couple. The next document is the municipal lien search. This will show things like open permits, building code violations, and unpaid taxes. It's important to note that unfavorable items appearing on the lien search may not be considered title issues that the seller has to address prior to closing. This is why I recommend that the parties address whose responsibility open permits and violations are in the additional terms of their sale and purchase contract. As a seller, you want to look for any open issues that you thought had been closed out, perhaps by a contractor who did work on the home, so you can reach out to get it resolved well in advance of closing. As a buyer, I'd recommend paying close attention to any delinquent taxes to be sure there's enough time for the seller to redeem them at the time of closing. Once all the requirements on the commitment have been met and any issues on the lien search have been addressed, the closing can take place. But the title insurance policy cannot be issued to the buyer until certain documents, such as the deed, have been recorded in the official property records. That is why experienced agents and investors ask for a marked up title commitment on the day of closing. The title company will then produce a version of the title commitment that has been marked up to show that all requirements have been met and to show which exceptions will remain on the final title policy. And this also acts as the buyer's coverage until the final insurance policy is issued a few weeks later. If you'd like to have an attorney review the title commitment or lien search that you've been provided, send a text to 561-225-2676 to set up a time to speak with me.